and welcome, guys. Today we're going to talk about our goal setting skill. You know, it's very, very important. You can basically use it in every aspect of your life and in every sphere. Once you know how to set up realistic, achievable goals, how to achieve them, you can basically solve any problem with this technique. So bear with me and go through this goal setting training. After this, life will be so much easier for you. I also hope that you can spread this video among your friends, post it on social networks, send it to your family, friends, or basically to anyone, because anyone can benefit from this training. I sincerely believe so. And this will be completely free and completely affordable, achievable for anyone. So please share it. So, in the previous, so let's say that moving towards our goal is like going on a hiking trip. In order to go on a hiking trip and not die, not get lost, and so on, and actually get where we want to end up, we need several things. First of all, we need to have our basic health, basic needs met. Like, we need to have functioning legs so that we can walk to there, or we need to have a wheelchair or something that can drive there, or we can have a car and so on. So we need to have some means of transportation. We need to make sure we have enough water. We need to make sure that we have enough clothing and so on. So this first step is kind of gathering all the necessary things for you to travel to your destination. And I covered this in the previous video when I gave this, like checkup list from which you can estimate if your fundamentals are covered. Because if your fundamentals are not covered and you go on a trip, you can hurt yourself and not get to your destination point at all, actually end up like hurt, and then you need to recover. So it makes your goal even further away from you. So number one is checking your fundamentals, okay, if you're even able to travel right now. Number two is having a clear map of reality, because if you do not have a map that is correct, you can get lost, you can get eaten by alligators or something. It can be pretty dangerous. In order to have a clear map, we need to have clear perception of reality and to have more or less realistic, flexible views of ourselves, other people, world around us, and so on. In order to have this, I highly recommend you going through my basic cognitive skills training. It's organized in another playlist. Please check it out. It's completely free. I didn't hide any secret there. You just do exercises for several weeks and then you have those skills. And once you have basic cognitive skills, you can at least see when you see reality clearly, when it gets distorted by cognitive distortions, for example, when you see it in some twisted way, and so on. And this will guarantee that you have more or less correct map of your reality, that you more or less understand what is there. Okay, so this was step number two. And now today we're going to talk about step number three. Once we have correct map and once we know that we can travel, we have all the fundamentals, we need to understand where we are on this map, because before we know where we are, how can we know where to go? Okay, so today we're going to talk about understanding where you are on this map. Don't worry, it's not very difficult. I will give you step-by-step instructions, and by the end of this video, hopefully you will know exactly where you are on your life adventure map, let's say. So step number one, please write down your valuable spheres in your life. Like, for example, for anyone, health is maybe the top priority, most valuable sphere, because no matter how talented or smart or creative or whatever you are, if you are sick, nothing else matters really. So health will be top priority, one of the most important spheres. However, And also maybe finances, like if you have your finances covered or not, because it also corresponds to our basic need of safety. However, continuing, we need to have our own preferences. Like, let's say for somebody who is a religious person, then religion would be a very important sphere for them. For someone who is very creative person, then for them, creativity, being creative, is very important sphere. For someone who is family oriented, family will be very important sphere of life. So basically, step number one is writing down spheres in your life that are most crucial for you, for yourself. Okay, most people have needs uh, in like basic needs, you know, like shelter, food, safety, and so on. So this is health and finances normally. Then most people have social needs like communication and so on. However, you can choose different spheres, like some people can mark friends, some people can mark more of family and so on. And then you decide which other spheres in your life are important, and this is your like individual task. I don't know which spheres are important for you. You know yourself much better. So please take a pause the video right now, and write down a list of spheres that are most important for you. And after that you can prioritize like about 5 to 6, maybe 7, 8 spheres that are most crucial. So please pause the video and I will see you after you finish. Oh, and by the way, in addition to just like basic spheres, you can also have just your values and how you realize them in your life. Like, for example, for someone, it's very important to have some freedom in life, or to have growth in life, or to have adventure in life, and so on. You can also include them in our like sphere categories, because not everything goes to just like some materialistic things. So maybe for you the value of freedom needs such attention and is a high priority. Then can also be like value of cooperation with other people, or value of being how to say, peaceful with yourself, and so on. So basically you can organize it in mental health, or you can organize it in um, living my life, or you can call it sphere of authenticity or sphere of freedom, or as you like basically. So yes, first step, write down your important spheres in life, and choose from 5 to maybe 8 most important ones. So once you did that, we're gonna use step 2 and rate each of these sphere in your like current life circumstances from 0 to 10. Like, let's say your health is maybe not so good recently, so you put it 6, let's say. Or you moved to another town, so you don't have many friends, so your social life is at 3 out of 10. So basically you rate each of these spheres at how satisfactory they are at this particular period of your life. Then you can also put them in circle like this. Like, you can have sphere 1, sphere 2, sphere 3, sphere 4, and then put them different scores. This can be nice if you like visual representation of things. So after that you can connect these points and basically see which spheres of your life are the lowest. Or you can just do it without circle. It's not really the most important part. So step number 2 is judging 0 to 10 how satisfactory this sphere is in your life. Okay, step number 3 is understanding change in which sphere is most essential for you. How you can do it? Step number 3, okay? You can think, for example, here is my health sphere, let's say. If I change this health sphere, how it's gonna change other spheres? Like, if I improve health sphere from 4 to 5, how it will influence my finances, how it will influence my creativity, how it will influence my professional life, how it will influence my family, how it will influence my friendships, how it will influence, any other sphere that you want. And basically, our goal is to make this surface larger. Okay, so if you choose some sphere and it improves many of other spheres, then it's really cool. If you choose some sphere but it doesn't actually improve other spheres or actually harms them, maybe not so cool right now. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. For example, you have a problem with your health right now, and if you choose to dedicate time and energy to take care of your health, then all your other spheres will improve significantly, after some time, right? But if you decide that health is too boring, I won't take care of it, instead I'm gonna go I don't know, focus on my romantic relationships, this way you might end up having your health deteriorate and then harming all other spheres of your life. Okay, so our goal is to analyze change in each sphere. Like, if I change my health, how it's gonna influence? If I change my financial sphere, how it's gonna influence? If I change my social life, how it's gonna influence? And then decide which sphere is the most influential right now. Okay, and this is also very unique and very individual, because, for example, some people really need social life, and for them, fixing social life and having friends to hang out with, having other people surround them, for them this is the most important thing right now. And for them, let's say, once they fix their social life, their health improves, their professional life improves, and so on. So, for example, if I really need a friend to exercise together, okay, when I have this friend, my health improves. And for some people, social life is not really important. For them, maybe creativity is important. And once they have a lot of creativity in their life, then they feel alive and motivated, and they want to take care of their health as well, and so on. Or let's take an example. You really like organized space. You really like when everything is clean, and this gives you a lot of room, mental space to do change in other spheres of your life. And right now you may be moved and you have a lot of boxes lying around, and this makes you unmotivated. So for you, changing your surroundings will be very important. But for some people, they don't really care how much stuff they have and how tidy it is. Okay, so it's very, very individual. So your step number 3 is analyzing how each of these spheres influences the whole, and choosing which change in what sphere will be the most positive for your overall life quality. So our goal is to make this sector bigger. Okay, so we want to grow it, want to make it larger. Okay, so this was step number 3, choosing the most influential sphere, choosing the sphere that will bring change the most in other spheres. But here there is a very interesting trick. The thing is that our brain is often pretty conservative and doesn't want to change things dramatically. So sometimes when we are scared of some change, or when we are afraid of doing something new, our brain can kind of convince us that this is not actually that important. Let's take care of something else first. And this is exactly what happens when, for example, you need an exam, you need to prepare for an exam, but instead you are cleaning your apartment. This kind of style of procrastination. And beware that it can happen here as well in our exercise. Like, for example, the sphere that you really need to address is your professional development. Like, you are unemployed at the moment, you don't have any idea what you want to do in your life, and so on. So you really need to focus on this direction. But this might feel very scary, very important, very overwhelming. So instead, your brain is like, oh, I was coughing recently. Let's take care of health first. Let's take care of social life first. And look, we didn't clean yet. So it's kind of trying to distract from the most important thing. So please, please, please be very honest with yourself. Change in what sphere will actually be the most influential. Even if it sounds scary, even if it sounds overwhelming, even if it's something you have never done, but this is the most influential thing. Don't worry, we're gonna later discuss how to make this goal achievable, how to make it digestible for you, how to separate it in very, very tiny small steps so that you can achieve it, how to get rid of being so afraid about it, and so on. So just please be honest with yourself for this one time. If you actually, kind of how to say, if change is actually needed in one sphere, don't fool yourself by saying like, oh, it's not that urgent, actually something else is much more important, and so on. So doing this exercise is a very tricky balance by of being able to listen to yourself and to actually understand what you need instead of following like what society tells you, right? But also being able to not fool yourself into taking care of some small things that are just feeling safe for you. Okay, so it's a tricky balance, and unfortunately in this video I cannot feed all the possible advice how to overcome it. Maybe I will make other trainings about it. You can use our basic cognitive skills training to begin with, and analyze your thoughts about different spheres if you have problems or difficulties here. And you can use our ABCDE technique to also change your thoughts about different spheres and so on. But this is a very, very important note. I meet it very often that a client, for example, comes and they are over fixated on the relationship, or they are over fixated on losing weight or something else, and then we discuss it, and then the client realizes that actually the real issue was not relationship. It was their, for example, professional instability, or financial instability, or loneliness, and they don't have enough social interaction, but it's just easier for them to focus on something familiar. So this is a very common mistake. Please don't do it, and maintain this kind of balance of listening to yourself, but also knowing when you're trying to fool yourself. It's a bit complicated, but do it as much as you can. So in the end of this exercise, you need to know which sphere of your life needs to be changed, and you need to choose it based on your own individual way of living, way of processing things. As I said, some people find religion very important, and if they pray every day, all other aspects of their life get better. Let's say, I'm just imagining, okay? So other people will find that health is the most important. Third group of people will find that social needs are the most important for them, and they influence all other spheres of your life. So choose the sphere that is the most influential, the most important, that can bring your life quality higher in all other spheres, or at least not harm them, okay? And this is the result of this exercise. We know more or less where we are on this map. We know the sector, we know the area in which we are. And in the next videos, we're going to discuss how to know exactly at which point we are and how to define it and so on. So stay with me and subscribe and follow and share this playlist and channel in general with your friends in social networks and so on. I will be very, very grateful, please. And in the end, let's revise. So step number 1, we write down our important life spheres. Step number 2, we rate them from 0 to 10. Step number 3, we think which sphere is most influential on others. Change in which sphere gonna bring the most improvement in all other spheres. Change in which sphere is not harmful to other spheres. Okay. um, and also remember that this is very, very subjective. Like, for example, if your own subjective value of creativity is very, very high, then you can sacrifice some other spheres, like for example your social life, for a bit, for this to go better. Okay, so make sure to do it like tailor-made, not just societal thing. So step number 3, we judge which sphere is the most influential. Change in which sphere will influence our life the most in positive direction. And step number 4, we check that our brain is not trying to fool us and not trying to lead us away into something less scary, into something more familiar, instead of addressing the actual sphere that needs change. This is the end for this video, so please do this exercise, and in the next video we're gonna talk more precisely about our current state, and like this, step by step, we will get to our achievable goal that we can actually, implement in our life. So I see you soon. Please write down in your comments, by the way, maybe how you see your spheres, how you analyze them, what you notice is interesting about your life circle, let's say, and your life spheres. What are your top priorities? Because I'm really curious to know you, and I really want to know you, and I really want to kind of have this dialogue with you instead of just my monologue. Yeah, and I see you next time. Bye bye.